Hello, this is Scott Deal, your VP of Product, and I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on some of the latest updates on WBQL Lite. First and foremost, to get to this new quoting engine, you're going to navigate to present.wardenbrown.com. And there you will log in using the standard login that you use for any of our other websites. And you'll be presented with your dashboard. And your dashboard is going to show you quotes that have been run for you or quotes that you have generated yourself on the WBQL engine or on any other engine, as long as they are type what we call EC, employee choice. So those are the ones where you can apply a contribution, you can assign a plan to an employee, create current and renewal and comparable comparisons, as well as create worksheets. So when you get in here, I'm not going to go through all of the functionality, but I'm just going to walk you through a basic quoting flow until we get to the new screens. So here you'll come in, you'll name your quote, you'll name your group. That's so that you can go back and find it later. You'll enter the business SIC code, as well as their headquarter zip code so that you can get the right rating. You'll choose an effective date, and you'll be able to see the carriers that are available by effective date if you're interested, and especially if you're quoting further out, it might be very good to look that up. We accept all manner of templates for import, including ease templates, a navigator template, our competing quoting engines, as well as competing GA templates. You simply take them and drag them over into the screen. You'll see that the name will be updated, and you'll hit import. It'll generate your census information into the application. You'll hit next. You do have access to a provider search here. The provider search is integrated. It shows doctors, hospitals, and medical groups and their contract status with the various plans that you're quoting. So if you're really trying to solve a provider access issue, it's a really great solution. Then when you land here, if you've been given access, you will have the ability to toggle back and forth between our old version of our quoting process and our new version, so you will never get stuck. Just a couple of things to cover what's on the screen. Most important thing on the screen is this feedback button. I say that as a product manager because we live and die by feedback. Your feedback is going to be very critical to the shaping how we continue to enhance and develop this product going forward. So please do not hesitate. If you love it, tell us. If you hate it, tell us. If there's something that we could do doing better, tell us, because this is your channel into our development cycles. You have a few different other buttons here that I'm going to walk through. You can exit the quote here. It's going to take you back to the dashboard. You can jump into the navigation, which is on the left. So these are your navigation elements, includes that exit. We allow you to collapse it so that you can get more real estate on the screen. You have an X button here, and that's going to take you through medical, dental, vision, and life. You have a generate quote button, which will sustain on the screen. That is going to actually take you into generating your output. You always start on this screen with a current and a renewal package. You have carrier selection down at the bottom. So very briefly, usually this is how I'm going to walk you through a scenario in quoting. This is how I normally do my quotes. I always start with a current. I don't keep the renewal on the screen. I just like to keep things very clean. I'm also going to walk you through a current whole so that you can see how I encounter an issue and resolve it. So I'm going to choose Blue Shield for the current, make sure that my effective date is last year. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a few things. Now, if I had a wrap, for example, I can come in here and I could select another carrier. For example, I could select Kaiser and do a Blue Shield Kaiser wrap. So just keep that in mind. You can add in other carriers. The system will do some degree of validation, but it does not validate participation. So watch out for that. You can, if you have multiple carriers, you can group the plans displayed down at the bottom by carrier, or you can commingle them. So if I have 20 packages from each of the carriers and wraps and all kinds of things, and I really want to see how plans compare by premium or by anything else that you can sort by, which is anything with a double up or down arrow here, I can commingle them all and see exactly the lay of the land and then make my plan selections that way. So it really gives you that detailed benefit analysis and comparison, not only within a carrier, but across carriers and plans. You also have the ability to filter. So any of these that have this filtering icon, you can filter. So for example, if I wanted to filter by plan type, I could do that. This is probably one of my favorite features. The search bar actually allows you to search by anything in the plan name or network name. And that includes, by the way, for Anthem and UHC, those plan codes. So if you have the XYNC1 plan code from Anthem, you can actually find the exact plan and network by searching those plan codes here. You can also search anything in the plan name. So if I wanted to, for example, find a trio plan, I type in trio and I could select that plan. It's going to populate up at the top. And what's going to happen is automatically it'll assign those employees who are eligible to that plan immediately to it. If anybody's left unassigned, you'll get a little notice. It will tell you that they're not assigned, and it will try to assign them. Of course, you'll always have the ability to go in and do plan assignments, and I'll show you that in just a second. So now let's say I wanted to find a gold plan, right? So I want to find a gold. I want it to be a nice Access Plus gold plan. This 1535 looks great. I'm going to be given the notice now that I can go in and do plan assignment, and I can do that from here. There's one other spot that we can do that, and I'll show you both just so you can see. So now I want to find a nice PPO plan. So I'm going to type in PPO. It's going to filter down to just PPO plans. I want to find a full PPO plan. I think the 025 is my plan. Okay, so now I've done things in a way that sets my plans in a specific order. This is just my order that I like to present things in when I go out and talk to a customer. I like to talk about narrow network first because it sets up the conversation for, well, what if they can't get access, and then I can have a full network HMO? Well, what if you really need access to an even larger panel? Well, then you have the full PPO, which is probably where your owner is going to go if you're not speaking with the owner, right? So it just sets up the conversation. Everything that you do, the order that you do it in, the order that you place it in, including even the census information, that's how it comes out on the output. So you can really tailor your customer presentation to your own style of presenting and the way you want the information to flow. Okay, so that all said, now I've got my employees. I've got two ways that I can do plan assignment. The way that makes most sense to me is to go in through this graphical user interface right here. I really like the way this works. It works very well, especially for smaller groups. When you get up into like the 70 or 80 or 90 life groups, this could be a little bit more difficult, and I can show you a different way to do it. I've worked it on both solutions, and I find things that I love about both. So it's entirely up to your style again. So here I can come, you may wonder, silver 2350, gold 1500, was that the trio or was that the Access Plus? Just remember that they're in the same order that you selected them in. So in the package, I've got the trio first, Access Plus, and then the full. So trio, Access Plus, and full. And we are working to add those network names up here so you have it right in front of you, but that's just a real quick hint. So I can come in here and I can move people off of my trio plan. I can put some people on my gold PPO plan. And that's good for demo purposes, plenty of assignments. So now I've got 9, 3, and 3. I'm also going to come in here and I'm going to apply a contribution. I found that it was very effective if I could go into an employer and talk to them exactly about what their costs and cost breakdowns were going to be. And I'm going to peg that to the lowest cost plan. Now that's lowest cost per employee. So just watch out for that. Because if you've got a population that's geographically dispersed, one employee, it might be a trio plan, right? And then another employee who wouldn't get the trio plan, it could be the Access Plus plan. It looks like all my employees were located in a place where trio was available. So I don't have that issue in this round. Sorry, not all demos can be perfect. But so here we've got the current, I've got my plans assigned, I've got my contribution. Now I'm going to step in a little bit of a hole. We did have, we have historically been able to auto create renewal packages that include all of the plans, plan assignments, contributions, etc. But we had a little bit of an issue with Blue Shield because they did a couple of different updates over the Q4 period. So I'm going to step in a small hole here and show you how to fix it. So you can see here, it pulled in 2 of my plans. So we had the carrier designated role 2s for those 2 plans, missing my Access Plus plan, not a problem. You also see that those 3 people for the Access Plus plan did not get assigned. So now I just need to find the right plan. with my renewal package selected, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find Access Plus 1535. That's the one. Okay. So now you'll notice that my plans are not in the same order, right? I've got silver, gold, and gold. Well, that doesn't quite work. So I have to reorder my plans. And no, this isn't just because I'm picky. If you get the plans in the right order, it's going to make your life so much easier when you get to output. For example, it'll highlight the plan differences, and it will compare, this gold 1535 to this gold 1535 to really show you whether or not something is different. Very important to communicate those changes at renewal. So we make it very simple on you, and I'll show you that down the road. Now I need to go in and assign my 3 employees to the right plan. So these 3 employees didn't get assigned to my Access Plus plan. Now they will be. So that brought my package up to snuff. Now I can come in here and I can create comparable packages. I'm just going to go ahead and select a few carriers. This is algorithmic. So what it does is it takes a look at the plan benefits and it tries to find something comparable. And it does so based on mathematical calculations. It's not a human. It's not going to solve the problems of the world, but it will give you a baseline. And it will allow you to come in here and make modest changes that might help you even reach better comparability or a better solution. So for example, you might not think that select is comparable to the trio. It's probably maybe in your territory, it's priority select. Maybe in your territory, select is terrible doctor access. So you have the ability to come in here and you can swap these things out. You've got a few different options that are available to you. You can come in on this package and you can say, hey, swap this plan or swap this network. If the plan exists on multiple networks, it'll show you the networks that are available to swap. So in this case, I could upgrade to the California Care Network. It doesn't really do me much for comparability. But you can also swap the plan for another plan entirely. So I can come in here and I can swap it out. And what it will do is it will reassign the plans. And if that's the contribution basis, it will recalculate the contribution basis too. It's a very powerful swap tool. Of course, you can always come down here and you can find the plan that you'd like to select. Deselect the one, select the other. That's entirely reasonable. You will have to go in and redo your plan assignments when you do it that way. So I'm going to show you 2 other features here. So the assigned plans feature. So this is really effective, especially if you have additions to the census after you've run in the quote once, or you just need to come in here and you need to make a couple of other changes. So let's say this person ultimately was supposed to be on the PPO plan. And what you'll see is when I make this plan assignment on the leftmost package, it's going to roll to the PPO across all of the packages and everything's going to be updated. So this is really a rapid way to make changes across multiple packages. It's a beautiful screen for that. I hit save and I'm back to this screen. I can see all my totals have recalculated. I'm good to go. I can come in here and I can add dental, vision, and life. The process is very similar. So I can come in and I can choose my carriers, choose my, make sure I enter in the right information here. So whether or not I have prior coverage, and then what my employer contribution is going to be. I've got 100% employee participation on those plans, so I'm going to make sure I check that off. I'll choose Choice Builder. It's a very popular dental plan. You'll see the layout is very similar, including my ability to sort and filter. I can come in here and I can select plans. So I'm going to go ahead and select, I don't know, let's see. We'll do the Delta Silver plan. Now, you'll notice immediately, and you might have spied this on the medical side, that some plans become unavailable. So we restrict plan combinations. If you wanted to have unfettered access to plans that you wanted to go and present, there's another version of quoting called custom that's available to you. But if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty detail, you can come in here and you can show specific plans that can be written together at underwriting. So I've got my DPPO here. Let's see. And I'm going to go ahead and pull a DHMO as well. So in this case, I am going to take the pop-ups suggestion. I'm going to move some people into the DHMO side. Actually, this is a really good example for assigned plans. I'm going to come here. Here I have a default. So since most people are probably going to take the DHMO, I'm going to swap everybody to the DHMO. And then I'm just going to move a few people to the DPPO side. Just these three. They're the rich folks. And I'm going to hit save. And I come back to this screen, you see I've got the 3 and 2. I can do the same. I can add additional packages for additional carriers. I won't bother to go through that whole process with you. You can do the same for vision and life. You can also, by the way, come in here and you could change your effective date. So if you ever wanted to quote something a year old, just remember that sometimes new business rates are not the same as renewal rates. So if you're trying to quote current renewal, we're not quite there yet, but you can get a pretty good estimation. One thing I want to make sure that I did was set a contribution for dental. So that's 100% contribution to the DHMO plan, 150 to the DHMO plan. I know, very rich. Okay. So now I've got all of that. My medical, dental, vision are all good. I can do the exact same thing for life. I won't bother because you can get in there and do that. Then what you're going to want to do is hit generate quote. And that's going to take you into the output side of things. I won't cover this in any degree of detail, but I am going to show you just a little bit about our output. This is where you really can customize what you're going to take and present to a client or what you'll send to a client. It includes all manner of sorting the information around, including highlighting plan differences, including defining exactly what you want to display and how you want to display it. You can really build this out. So for example, if I was really focused on, say, HealthNet as my replacement option, I could rearrange the packages and I could say, okay, show HealthNet as the second package. I could also come in here and say, okay, so look, for these savings, I can also come in and I can add in, the choice builder solution that I just quoted, dental and vision. And then I get a comparison to their current package. I show that my ER cost really, only went up just very slightly, and I was able to add dental and vision. It's rare that you get to actually do that and show any manner of savings. I know it's against the renewal, but we're in demo land. So you've got your package that you've created with dental and vision. You have plans. When you expand them, you'll see the highlighted benefit differences. Now, if I'm working on a 90 life group, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn this into Christmas, turning things red and green based on my determination of whether or not it's better or worse. You can see the rates and rate comparisons. I can do the exact same thing, by the way, for dental. So I can expand those. I can show how they're different from one another if I really wanted to have, and if I had multiple packages, it would make perfect sense. And then when you're ready, when you've got everything arranged, you can hit export. You get a myriad of options for pages that you can include. It depends on where you are in the quote to card life cycle, with who you're presenting to, what the audience is, what their pain points are that you're trying to solve, and how much detail you need to provide them in order for them to make an effective analysis and decision. So, I like to do things like the medical plan overview because it compares the packages. Package summary shows you, some of that summarized information. Details really gets you into each individual's costs and their cost difference and the percentage of cost difference. So that might be really good, especially if you're doing research to determine, what's the impact to, the person who sits at the front desk. What's the impact to the owner, right? So if you want to narrow in your focus, you can choose to incorporate plan and rate summaries if you'd like. Those are just the side-by-side benefits, and they include some rate information. This is rate detail, but there's all manner of output here that's available for you. And then again, you get the ability to enhance that output through different separations, filters, etc. So for example, if I was talking with my client and they said, hey, no dental and vision right now, you could pop those dental and vision, including the one that I placed in the HealthNet package, right out of the output, and it would only send the medical if I removed these. So really, really powerful ways for you to completely customize that experience. You have the ability, by the way, to add in PowerPoint or Excel output. You can really, go to town on how you want to take and use the data and then present it to your customer. And you have the ability to customize your logo and your colors. So you can upload your logo here and you can change the colors on the theme here. I'm going to go ahead and just export this and we'll call it a day. I hope you found that demonstration very useful. I'll look forward to showing you the next advancement in WBQL Lite. Thank you for your time.